In November 2022, something remarkable happened. ChatGPT launched, and within 5 days, it had 1 million users. Within 2 months, 100 million. Suddenly, everyone was talking about AI. Students were using it for homework, professionals were automating their workflows, artists were both fascinated and terrified by image generators that could create anything in seconds. Fast forward to today, and the AI gold rush is in full swing. Startups are raising hundreds of millions. Tech giants are spending billions on compute infrastructure. NVIDIA's market cap has skyrocketed. Everyone wants a piece of the AI pie. But here's the billion-dollar question. Are we witnessing the birth of a transformative technology, or are we inflating another spectacular bubble that's destined to burst? Today, we're diving deep into the AI hype cycle to separate reality from exuberance. Let's examine the evidence from both sides, explore what could sustain or pop this moment, and figure out what comes next. Before we can diagnose whether AI is a bubble, we need to understand what a bubble actually is. History gives us plenty of cautionary tales. There was the Dutch tulip mania in the 1630s, where a single tulip bulb could cost more than a house. The dot-com bubble of the late 1990s, where any company with .com in its name could raise millions, regardless of whether it had a path to profitability. And the 2008 housing bubble, built on the assumption that real estate prices could only go up. These bubbles share some telltale signs. Rampant speculation, where people invest not based on fundamentals, but on the belief that someone else will pay more tomorrow. Rapid, unsustainable price increases that defy traditional valuation metrics. Irrational exuberance, a term coined by Alan Greenspan, where optimism overrides reason. And perhaps most importantly, a fundamental detachment from underlying economic reality. Bubbles follow a pattern. They inflate slowly, accelerate rapidly, reach a euphoric peak, and then, inevitably, they pop. The question isn't whether bubbles are real. They absolutely are. The question is, does AI fit this pattern? Let's start with the bearish case. If you squint, the AI landscape today looks uncomfortably familiar to those who remember the dot-com era. First, there's the valuation problem. AI startups with minimal revenue are commanding billion-dollar valuations. Companies are raising at 100x revenue multiples, or in some cases, with no revenue at all. The logic? Future potential. But potential doesn't pay the bills. We've seen this movie before, and it doesn't always end well. Then there's the phenomenon of AI washing. Remember blockchain being slapped onto everything a few years ago? We're seeing it again. Legacy companies are rebranding themselves as AI businesses with minimal substantive changes. Add AI powered to your pitch deck, and suddenly your valuation doubles. This isn't innovation, it's marketing. The accessibility of generative AI might actually be part of the problem. It feels like magic. You type a prompt, and boom, a coherent essay, a stunning image, a working piece of code appears. This simplicity masks the enormous complexity and cost underneath. When technology seems effortless, we forget to ask hard questions about sustainability and economics. The talent wars are another red flag. AI researchers are commanding salaries that would make investment bankers blush. 7-figure compensation packages for PhDs straight out of school. Sign-on bonuses in the millions. This isn't just paying for expertise, it's bidding war inflation driven by FOMO. Companies are hoarding talent not because they have immediate use cases, but because they're afraid their competitors will get there first. And let's talk about burn rates. Training a single large language model can cost tens of millions of dollars. The energy consumption is astronomical. OpenAI is reportedly losing money on every ChatGPT interaction. These companies are hemorrhaging cash at a rate that would be unsustainable in any normal market. The only reason they survive is continuous venture capital infusions. But what happens when that capital dries up? Some veteran investors are sounding alarms. They see overvaluation. They see business models that don't close. They see a rush to deploy AI with minimal ROI. And they're starting to ask, how is this different from 2000? But wait, before we declare AI dead on arrival, let's examine the counterargument. and it's compelling. Unlike previous bubbles built on speculation alone, AI is delivering tangible value right now. Developers are genuinely more productive using AI coding assistants. Customer service operations are being transformed by sophisticated chatbots. Artists are both fascinated and terrified by image generators that could create anything in seconds. Look beyond the chatbots and you'll find AI achieving things that were science fiction 5 years ago. AlphaFold solved protein folding, a problem that stumped scientists for decades. AI is discovering new antibiotics, designing novel materials, and accelerating drug development. These aren't hype cycles, they're genuine scientific breakthroughs with enormous implications. The infrastructure investments are real and foundational. Billions are flowing into GPU production, data centers, and cloud infrastructure. These aren't speculative assets, they're physical, tangible resources that will have value regardless of any single company's success. This is more like building railroads during the Industrial Revolution than trading tulip futures. The companies that survive are building defensible moats, proprietary datasets, trained models representing millions in compute costs, and network effects where each user makes the service more valuable. Google's search advantage came from data and usage. The same principle applies here. These moats are real, not imaginary. History offers an important lesson. Remember the dot-com bubble? Yes, it burst spectacularly. Pets.com failed, but Amazon survived. Google emerged. The internet didn't die, it became infrastructure. The bubble popped, but the technology was real. Many argue we're seeing the same pattern with AI. There will be casualties, absolutely, but the underlying technology is transformative. Some compare AI to electricity. When electricity was first commercialized, there were hundreds of power companies. Most failed. But electricity itself became ubiquitous and fundamental. Perhaps AI is similar. Overinvestment in specific companies, but undeniable long-term necessity for the technology itself. And crucially, enterprises are actually buying. This isn't just consumer hype. Fortune 500 companies are deploying AI systems, signing multi-million-dollar contracts, and restructuring operations around these tools. That's fundamentally different from retail investors bidding up speculative stocks. So, what determines whether AI becomes the next internet or the next Pets.com? Let's look at the catalysts that could either pop or sustain this moment. Regulatory intervention is a real threat. Governments worldwide are crafting AI regulations. If these are too restrictive, they could strangle innovation. The European Union's AI Act is just the beginning. Privacy concerns, copyright battles, and safety regulations could significantly constrain what AI companies can do. Compute costs are another vulnerability. Everyone's betting that AI will get cheaper as technology improves. But what if it doesn't? What if we hit fundamental physical limits? Current AI scaling relies on exponential compute increases. That's not infinitely sustainable. There could be unexpected technical walls. Current large language models hallucinate, struggle with reasoning, and have reproducibility issues. What if these aren't solvable problems? What if we picked the low-hanging fruit and further progress is much harder than anticipated? An economic downturn would be devastating. AI companies survive on constant capital infusion. In a recession, that capital evaporates. Suddenly, those money-losing business models can't sustain themselves. A major AI failure or accident could trigger panic. A widely deployed AI system causing significant harm, whether through bias, errors, or misuse, could destroy public trust overnight. On the flip side, clear return on investment would change everything. If companies can definitively show, we spent X on AI and saved 10X in costs, adoption accelerates sustainedly. A killer application beyond chat could be transformative. AI-powered drug discovery that cures a major disease, fusion energy breakthroughs enabled by AI simulation, revolutionary materials that solve climate challenges. These would justify even current valuations. Democratized access is another sustainer. If AI tools become as common and affordable as Google Docs, the addressable market expands enormously. Open source models are already moving in this direction. Continued breakthroughs matter. If AI capabilities keep improving at the current pace, skeptics will convert to believers. Conversely, a plateau would be problematic. And finally, government investment could provide stability. If nations decide AI is strategic infrastructure, like space programs or semiconductor manufacturing, public funding could sustain the ecosystem through private sector volatility. So, are we in AI bubble? The honest answer is it's complicated. We're probably experiencing both a bubble and a genuine technological revolution simultaneously. Some companies are wildly overvalued. Some use cases are overhyped. There will be failures, bankruptcies, and disappointed investors. But underneath the froth, something real is happening. AI is already changing how we work, create, and solve problems. The technology has crossed a threshold where it's genuinely useful, not just impressive in demos. Think of it this way. We might be in 1999 internet time. Yes, there's a bubble. Yes, it might deflate painfully. But that doesn't mean the internet wasn't real or important. It just means the market got ahead of itself temporarily. The next few years will be revealing. Watch for sustainable business models. Look for genuine productivity improvements that show up in economic data. Pay attention to whether AI capabilities plateau or continue improving. And critically, observe whether enterprises keep buying or start pulling back. The AI revolution is real, but revolution doesn't mean every revolutionary gets rich. Some of today's darlings will fail spectacularly. Others will become the Amazons and Googles of tomorrow. The winners won't necessarily be those with the most hype, but those solving real problems with sustainable economics. What do you think? Are we in a bubble, or is this time truly different? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay informed as this story unfolds, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.